means that the area that it will cover, right? Doesn't necessarily means the predictability of how much it'll rain or snow. It usually means if it does, what area it will cover, right? So it means maybe 50% of the city, if you're, whatever city it comes up, right? Usually the Chicagoland or suburbs is probably Chicagoland area, 50%. So it's more of that geographic area being covered as opposed to like, oh, there's half and half chance that it might snow or rain. All right, welcome back. Good afternoon. Buenos tardes. Bon après-midi. What's new? How was your weekend? Gateway Arch?
Yeah, we went out there
They
to
do that.
the city.
Yeah, I never been up in actually. That's good. Awesome. Yeah, Gateway Arch is actually a national park, right?
Yeah, I think it's right next to it.
Yeah, it's right next to the national park, which is interesting. What else? What else did you do? Anything exciting?
I went to the movie theater to see Mikey 17. It
Oh.
was a good movie.
It was good. You recommend it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I did the little Shamrock Shuffle run that they have here in Chicago. Are you familiar with it? It's like a big marathon run downtown and stuff. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was nice. If you've never been, maybe check it out next year. Tens of thousands of people. You get beer afterwards. They have tents to hang out. And, it's a Buckingham Fountain where it starts and ends. So really, really cool event. All right. You know what I'll do? I wanted to bring up just where we are and what we're looking like in our syllabus, because we're already in week 11, so we could go over some expectations.
Professor, can I crack a window?
Yeah, sure. So,
Okay, we don't want to open this one.
all right, so week 15, we have preparation of final project. How we're looking with that? Any even ideas about that? Final projects as well as presentation. Anybody have any ideas? Taking a look at that? Okay. Maybe we could go over that on Thursday. And we could set aside some class time or maybe throw out some ideas. If you're gonna maybe have some things. All right, so here's our final presentation. There are many companies today that are very effective in Okay, so we'll have final presentations week 15. All right, here we go. There are many companies today that are very effective in marketing through several integrated forms of marketing. For your final presentation, you will need to work in groups of 3. You can pick your teams, however, everyone must have a team or at least a partner. Have we picked teams?
Wait, can you say the last thing you said before
Okay,
that?
so you will work in groups of 3. You can pick your teams, however, everyone must have a team or at least a partner. Okay, so let's just pick teams today. How's this sound? You 3. No, she's not here. We'll be a team. You 3 with Jace will be a team. There's 3 of you. Team? Yeah. And maybe we could do 2 teams. You 2 could be a team, and you 2 could be a team.
We could be a team of 4.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Do y'all want to,
They accept me.
you want to do one group team, you pick something? Okay, I'm gonna make it easier. Alright, so one group, make sure whenever you see them, communicate with them, like, hey, we're a group, we gotta work on this presentation, alright? And make sure we can see her, email each other, start getting even with Jay, start emailing each other, get each other's information, so we can get prepared. Okay, so what are we looking at for our final presentation? Alright, research some companies today and have a very effective integrated forms of marketing and dissect and explain the various strategies marketing that creates consumer satisfaction. So you're gonna pick a company, any company you choose, right? That you think is very effective in the different forms of marketing that it uses, right? That create consumer satisfaction. So you're gonna really be as detailed as possible about how do they satisfy consumers from everything that we learned. The psychological aspect, behavior, identify the type of consumer it is, break that down. Influences, different strategies that the company employs, right, to make their customer satisfied. You know, this is still a marketing class, so we always consider 4 Ps. Is it the price, is it promotion, is it the product, blah, 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 right? It's the placement of it. And everything else that we learned about influencing consumer behaviors, right? We'll talk a little bit more about that today. So, you guys will communicate, try to exchange information today, okay? Does that make sense? Anyone confused? Any?
She just needs y'all information. She needs y'all Snapchats. I know. She needs to know y'all on a more personal level. Y'all are locked in now.
So we just got in a group, so you 3 are, yeah. We're on for our final presentation, so, he'll fill you in and exchange information today too. Cool hat, by the way.
He said, go ahead.
You guys know.
Okay, today we're talking about social and cultural identity, how it influences consumer behavior, right? How marketers can use information. Remember we talked about how we all belong to groups, whether they're voluntary or involuntary. We all belong to groups based on social identity and cultural identities. For example, right? If you are a male, you belong to a group, voluntarily and involuntarily. Involuntary means that the social feedback you get from others is because of that identity. If you are a female, you belong to a group. You are a member of a female identity. If you are Caucasian American, African American, right? Latin, Hispanic, if you are Middle Eastern, European, etc., you belong to groups, voluntarily and involuntarily. Right? You have a social identity. You will receive feedback from others based on that. You will probably behave according to that identity. So we say, hey, these identities are part of domain system. One, we say a big one here in the United States is race and ethnicity, right? We're highly racialized, highly ethnic-oriented country. People take pride in their race and their ethnic groups, and we also have a bias because of that. Another domain would be age. We are all not the same age, and we can bracket age into memberships of certain age groups, which we call generations. Your generation is different than my generation in many ways. You probably don't listen to the music that I listen to. You probably, you have no clue what it was like before the internet and smartphones were around. I do. I remember what it was like as a kid and just going knock on people's door to hang out with your friends, or going to a payphone, putting in a quarter, right? I remember, beepers. I remember when cell phones first came out. You have no clue what those are, right? You're a different generation. You were born in technology. We have different religious belief systems, which form who we are. Hey, are you Lutheran? Are you Catholic? Are you atheist? Are you agnostic? Are you Muslim? Right? Are you Hindu? Are you Buddhist? Are you something of the sort in between? It shapes who you are. It shapes your worldviews, your perceptions. It shapes everything, right? We have different sexual orientations, right? We have all different types of identities. And with that, marketers can use that information to influence and promote according to what you value as a person. Right? So in this segment, we'll learn about dynamics of social identity influence in our daily lives and consumer behavior. We are highly influenced by people that we find are part of our group. If you're part of our group, we might listen to you more. We might not be dismissive if we think that you're part of one of our groups. We may want to build some sort of social organization. We may want to be included within that group, right? We don't want to feel isolated. So we'll describe also how our family can shape our identity and often guide our consumption choices. We'll talk about parenting styles, how we all been raised and how it influences how attached we get to things or unattached we are. I'll discuss how age-related life events shape our identity and often guide our consumption choices. Age-related life events, right? Midlife crisis. People my age go through midlife crisis. It's like, oh, I did all this stuff. Now what about now? What do I do now? What is my meaning of life? Family, this and that, right? People your age may be a little bit more narcissistic. You're like, I don't care about nobody but me, right? People older may be a little bit more humble. They're like, oh, it's about my grandkids. I just take care of my kids, right? My grandkids. Everybody's different, right? Everything is kind of segmented into groups. And we have to pay attention to that. We'll also summarize how ethnicity and race shape our identity and often guide our consumption choices. Right? We like to feel included. We're part of some in-group, right? And we recognize that. So we may want to do as the Romans do with our group. Right? We may have social influence to do so. We'll look at how religious and political beliefs affect how we think and often guide our consumption choices. Right? We boycott companies because of our political beliefs. Right? We see Tesla going down right now. Tesla going down because people disagree with Elon and his involvement in the politics, right? That's a big deal, right? We see the lights just dim because I mentioned Elon and they don't want me talking about it. Just kidding. And then we can describe how birds of a feather flock together in place-based subcultures, right? Depending on the place that we are in, we may want to do as the Romans do as well too. All right, facets of our social identity. Right, one facet is family. We say, hey, in our family, we value certain things. Some of us value just our immediate family, and then we say, hey, I don't mess with my cousins. I don't talk with my aunties and get on my nerves, uncles. But I love my mom, I love my dad, I love my brother and sister, right? And that could be a dynamic. Others may say, like, no, we have big 100-people gatherings, right? We may celebrate really big things, right? We may have quinceañeras, right? We may have a bar mitzvah. We may have a big cookout, right? A barbecue cookout in the summertime. Things of that nature, right? We have all different dynamics. And we all play a role. Are you the middle child? Are you the youngest child? Are you the oldest child? Hey, are you taking care of your parents? Are they sick? Are they old? Are you taking care of your grandparents? Oh, are you taking care of your parents and your own children in your family? You're taking care of both, right? Those are tricky dynamics, complex. relationships or not. Next, age, generations, and age groups, right? Big. We say different value systems, different beliefs, different political ideologies, right? Some people, communities might, older people might be more conservative, generally speaking, and more younger people might be more liberal, right? More democratic, so to speak, to a degree. Religion and politics, right? We say religion and politics go hand in hand. That's why we've combined them. Politics is the new religion. It used to be we fought and argued and killed each other over religion. Now we fight and argue and kill each other over politics, right? Political ideology is the new religion. You know, people have mentioned more about presidents and Congress people more than mention about God or their own faith-based things. So it tends to be overlapping to some degree. You know, in many ways we think that the politics need to align with their religious beliefs, like we believe in particular ideologies, spiritually, religiously, then we think that our politics need to kind of align with those values, so they go hand in hand. Places. Remember I told you before, I personally believe the environment is the most impactful factor in human behavior.